In today's episode. So I'm not getting the promotion you promised? Then I'm not doing the extra work. Was in a car accident and was asked for a doctor's note. His high employee turnover stopped being a problem after I quit. You're welcome, boss. So let's get started. So I'm not getting the promotion you promised? Then I'm not doing the extra work. This isn't my story, but my wife's. She doesn't have Reddit and said I could share her story with you lovely people. Allow me to set the scene. My wife Harper's official title is Mental Health Professional, or MHP, and she has been in this position for 3 years at a live-in care facility for adults with mental illnesses. Before that, she worked for several years on the mental health ward at the hospital, so she had more experience walking into her current position than anyone else they had hired. Within her first year, she got 2 lifers to progress in their treatment plans so thoroughly that they both got the okay to move out into the sister program that has more freedom and independence. She was working with a 3rd lifer who was about ready to apply for the sister program when lockdown hit and the transfers between housing, or even non-AMA releases, were suspended. All this is to say that she has made some very serious and positive changes for this facility from the moment she started working there. They made her the lead MHP, and her direct supervisor's boss started giving her more responsibilities, like the morning team report for the whole facility, handling client money, making decisions on big changes to help the overall workload, ECT. Her yearly review happened in December, which was promised to come with a large raise to reflect all the added responsibilities she has been gradually given. Of course, it didn't. She stayed on HR about her raise for a month or so after the review itself until the big boss finally brought her into his office to discuss with her a promotion. It would be a bit tricky, because she has her bachelor's in psych and social work, but not her master's, which we're working on getting her back in school soon to complete, and which she needs to officially fulfill the job title they had in mind. Still, she was clearly leaps and bounds beyond her coworkers, often staying over to help clients, or to help finish paperwork, filling in wherever she's needed. So, promoting her would be cheaper than hiring on someone new, and of course this would come with an even better pay raise. So, for the last few months my wife has been doing even more for her supervisor's boss and the big boss. Anything they ask of her, dangling that official promotion over her head, constantly saying it would be a gradual transition, and she needs to learn this, or that, do this, or that to train for it. Out of her own pocket, she bought new binders and other supplies that made the various parts of her job and theirs easier. She planned, reorganized, filled in, whatever. The supervisor's boss even told her verbatim, "I don't know what I would do without your help," several times. All this with the promise of an official promotion and a raise. Then it happened. Last week, Harper was tasked with sorting through potential new hires as they had been hurting for more MHPs for some time, and the bosses had taken some of Harper's clients off her workload to make room for the new responsibilities. She noticed that of the stack she was given, all applicants had a master's or qualifying credential in social work. HRMM. Worrisome. 2 days ago, it was business as usual for most of the day, until about an hour before Harper was supposed to clock out. She called me in angry tears, ranting about the conversation she had just had with the supervisor's boss. He told her she would unfortunately be taking on more clients, and the promotion would be put on hold for the time being. She said he didn't come right out and say he had decided to hire one of the people with a master's instead for the position, but what he did say was, "You'll have to relinquish any added responsibilities and return to being just an MHP." Okay. Bet. After trying to calm her down, I gave my normally frustratingly accommodating wife a nudge in the malicious direction. One of the first added responsibilities she was given was the morning report. It was her job to have all the staff gathered during the client's breakfast to relay what happened during 3rd shift, the plans for the day, coordinating client appointments, ECT. She would have to be in the facility before 3rd shift clocked out to get their notes, and then plan a traveling and gas budget for all the appointments, review any safety concerns or incidents, and this all added about an hour to her morning. So, how happy was she the next morning when she got to snooze her alarm and sleep in a bit longer. When she got to the facility at her usual clock in time as an MHP, she said the place was already in chaos. A fight had broken out and someone had some money stolen out of their room, all normal events for this place. But no one was exactly sure on the who or why of it because third shift had had no one to pass along the notes, so they just filed them and left. Of course Harper knew where they had been filed, because she organized the filing system no one had thought to check. As soon as supervisor's boss saw her clock in, he asked why she wasn't there for report. See, he is always a seemingly sweet and soft-spoken man, which made the sudden change of mind all the more surprising. Harper said she just stared him down, trying not to grin, and said, "I'm just an MHP. I can't handle the morning report." She then spent the rest of the day giving him the cold shoulder, relaying only necessary information to him while focusing on her clients and paperwork. I want to be clear, it isn't that they chose a more educated person for the higher position. That makes plenty of sense. It's that they promised her that position, spent the last few months transitioning her responsibilities to that position, promised her the pay raise to go with it, and then ripped it out from under her. That's some underhanded bullshit. Oh, and since she isn't getting the promotion, she went to HR to see about her overdue yearly raise. She was told no one is getting a raise at the moment because of COVID. Was in a car accident and was asked for a doctor's note. Obligatory mobile formatting excuse. A little background story first. So this happened a few years ago, while I was working as an assistant produce manager for a local grocery chain. I was young and dumb and was still unfazed by lack of sleep. So my friend and I decided to hang out at a bar. Less than 8 hours before my shift was scheduled to begin. Now while we were at a bar, we each only had one drink in 2 hours and only spent the time at the establishment because you needed to have a drink to play pool. $6 each for unlimited games isn't bad. Around midnight we left and decided to take the scenic backwoods road home. Unfortunately for us we got more than the lovely scenery. We ended up losing control and rolling completely over because something ran out in front of us. Luckily I didn't have any fractures or breaks, but my arm did get covered in glass and was bloodied up pretty good. Took us about an hour of sobriety tests, which we both passed, waiting for the police record to tow the vehicle and transportation to the local police station so that we can be picked up. Also another hour until we could find someone awake to take us home. By the time I was back in the comfort of my own house it was 2 hours before I would have to leave. I was the only one scheduled with the ability to do the produce order, literally no one else knew how to do it, and if it wasn't in by 9 a.m., nothing was coming for the next day, and because of an inflated sense of loyalty I still held for my job at the time, I decided that I would show up. Still pumped full of adrenaline, I showered and went to work. As soon as I punched in was when I started to come down from my adrenaline high. I was sore and tired. At 8 a.m. I called my boss and told him the order was done and I would be leaving. As soon as all the managerial duties were done and any worker could handle the department, I told the store manager I was going to urgent care. They took me pretty quickly and I was home with several prescriptions by 10. The next day I was still in rough shape, but I wouldn't be running the department. The produce manager would be on with me, and because the way we worked, he would break down the shipment and load a bunch of carts that I would fill the tables with. I thought I'd be okay for the day. My boss was notorious for working whatever hours he felt like, but I never let it bother me too much until this day. When I arrived at work my boss was gone and half of the day's delivery was already put away. He decided in his infinite wisdom to just work overnight, and have me handle the rest. For the first few hours I struggled to get anything done. The physical portion of my job took more of a toll on my back than I expected, and at 9 a.m. when the store manager showed up I went to him and complained. I explained about the car accident that he already knew about and asked if I could have some help. Someone to lift the heavier boxes onto a cart, and I'd be able to take it from there. His response? You need a doctor's note listing these restrictions. Cue malicious compliance. I called the urgent care location I went to the previous day, and spoke to the same healthcare professional. After explaining what was happening, I requested a doctor's note limiting the amount of weight I would be expected to lift for a few days. Needless to say, she was shocked. "You shouldn't be at work at all right now. I'll give you a doctor's note until your prescriptions end, but you need to take the next few days off." I told her I had 2 days off in a row coming up, and she wrote me a doctor's note saying I couldn't work until afterwards. She emailed me the note, and I gave it to the boss, now off of work for the next 5 days. His high employee turnover stopped being a problem after I quit. "You're welcome, boss." This happened in about 2013. I had been offered a job as an assistant at a small fashion e-commerce. I was so excited. There were red flags from the beginning. The existing assistant sat next to me was a little hesitant when I asked if the company was good to work for, and she told me that a lot of employees had come and gone for various undisclosed reasons, but I was too naive and enthusiastic to really pay attention. I came to find out that our boss, the business co-owner, along with his wife, was not quite the easygoing fun boss he painted himself to be. He constantly reminded us how lucky we were to be working there, how we could easily be stacking shelves in a supermarket for the same wage. My fellow assistant truly did far too much for the company given her title, and my boss also constantly compared my work ethic to hers, even though I was working through my legal breaks and lunches along with her, never knowing what my finishing time would be, etc. During a period of a couple of months, I witnessed at least 3 other employees quit or be fired. One was let go because she fell ill, one quit on the spot after seeing that we were selling on broken products, one simply wouldn't put up with the unreasonable scheduling. It was coming up to Christmas and the business was incredibly busy with orders. In addition to giving up my breaks, lunches and set finishing times, the boss decided that we would all start coming into the office an hour earlier from tomorrow. Not a request. I had taken this on as a part-time job, so I was already struggling to cope, and had confided in him about my mental health problems. Now, he took my concerns and laughed in my face. Asked if I just didn't want to get up early. Said that he could easily replace me anyway, that he was thinking about firing me, and that he would enjoy seeing me stacking shelves when he next went to the supermarket. That was the final straw for me. I called his bluff. At the end of the workday, I went to his office and quit surely before he could gloatingly fire me in front of everyone. Now, it must have been a big inconvenience for him to lose an employee 2 or 3 weeks before Christmas. But oh well, he could just hire someone else, right? Not quite so easily. Now that I wasn't working, I needed to claim job seekers allowance, UK unemployment benefits, and they wouldn't award it if I had just quit a job on a whim. So I typed up a long, detailed list of everything that was going on in that office, the law breaking, the bullying, and handed it to my job center advisor. She was not happy, and I was informed that the company would no longer be allowed to advertise job openings with them. This was where they were getting all their hires from. Additional nail in the coffin. The boss and his wife had just bought new, bigger premises to cope with the increased demand for their products. Demand that now couldn't be met because they couldn't hire and keep enough people to pack the orders. A few years after all this, I looked up the company out of curiosity. It was dissolved in 2016. Of course, I do not believe, nor want to believe, that I brought down this e-commerce all by myself. But it does make me happy that, by calling my boss bluff, I prevented at least some prospective employees from an awful experience. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.